You could also have the ability to just carry a water bottle from home if it's short enough. Keep in mind when you're hiking that you may need to purify your water using something like MicroPure or like a Sawyer water filter. These are available at a lot of places like REI and Bass Pro, and they're relatively inexpensive. Now, when you're backpacking, like a full backpack, your body generally consumes a liter of water an hour. That translates to about a gallon per every 4 hours. So one of these should be drank in an hour. So generally speaking, you're going to hike for 2 or 3 hours, you should take about a gallon. This is specifically noted at Philmont. They recommend that you have a gallon of water, although more than a gallon is definitely preferred. When I went to Philmont, I took a hydration backpack, I just took the bladder out of the bag and put it in my other backpack, the big one, and then I took, I want to say, 3 water bottles, so a liter and a half, and then 2 1 liters, which would put me at, I want to say 5 liters, and then I had this one I did not bring this one, this was Northern Tier 1. So at Northern Tier, it's very different. If you have water very available, like at the Boundary Waters, I only took 2 water bottles, 2 1 liters, and I was able to fill one and drink one at the same time. In my opinion, the most useful is going to be a bladder or a backpack. You can find them in day packs, so like this is just a 14-liter bag, and you can get them all the way put up into like the 90-liter hiking backpacks, should have a spot for your water. The other hand would be like a hard plastic water bottle, and very popular amongst hikers are smart water bottles. Smart water bottles are fairly durable. I will say it's really hard to break an Nalgene bottle, and I think that a smart water bottle, I've thrown one around just to see how durable it was, and it took a little while, but if it lands on the cap, it will break. So that's one of the benefits to Nalgene. While they can break, they're pretty hard to. So in my opinion, I would have a mix of both. I know that you can get water bags, like water bladders, up to 4 liters, but if you're specifically talking Philmont, where you're going to prepare your water by purifying it, having 4 liters is a little bit too hard if you don't have a way to purify 1 liter at a time, because then you have an issue where you don't have water because you're waiting for your MicroPure to work. So in conclusion, I think that a water bladder is definitely necessary, but I also think that if you're going to be purifying water, a hard water bottle is definitely a good asset to have because you can pour it into the bladder, and then you don't have to deal with bleeding the bladder, hoses, and stuff. You can just do it all in this and pour it straight into the bladder. Another point where the hard water bottles are great is if you're like doing car camping and stuff like that. You're not necessarily be carrying a backpack all day, and it may just be easier to carry a water bottle. You can make a little lanyard for it. Be sure to watch the video I've got about that. It is pretty easy. It takes about 1.5 foot paracord, and you can just get a carabiner and clip it onto your belt. So now, when it comes to water bottles, there are a bunch of different choices. You have smart water bottles. There are like Gatorade water bottles, and then you get like an Nalgene. In my opinion, an Nalgene is the way to go. They're relatively inexpensive. I think they're about $16 now, and they're pretty near impossible to break. They're not impossible. I've broken one, but the good news about Nalgene is they replaced it. This one is actually a replacement from one it broke. So when you get to Nalgene specifically, in my experience, there are 3 options. You have a 1.5 liters, you have a narrow mouth, and you have a wide mouth. These are both liters. When you get into the wide mouths, you can get a spacer. So this is just a silicone one. They make hard ones. I definitely think the silicones are better. So it's just a flexible thing. This one's the Hydro Pack. It's, I believe, called the Watergate one. And I want to say that one's about $6 on Amazon. But other places sell them in different brands. Personally, I prefer the wide mouth with the spacer in it because it allows you to fill a bottle without having to make sure that you're going to make it into the narrow mouth of the narrow mouth Nalgene's. So personally, I would definitely prefer the wide mouth, the spacer. You can also move the spacer from the water bottle that you're going to drink from. So, say I wanted to drink out of this water bottle, I can just take the spacer out, and then you don't have to have one. Otherwise, there are smart water bottles, which are ultralight. They're very popular amongst ultralight backpacking and that crowd, I guess. So those are definitely a way to go, but there may be a loss in durability. So I think overall, an Nalgene is worth its weight. No pun intended. They're a little heavy compared to like smart water bottles. So I would definitely go with a combination of Nalgenes and a backpack bladder. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Have a nice day.